Hello, good morning everybody. Thanks for coming. I'll be the facilitator of the panel, and I'm the responsible for entrepreneurship and facilitating startup ecosystem. Today, during the 45 minutes which have left for the panel, and we're going to tell you two main things. The interesting story with what's happened during 2013. The other thing, what we are going to speak about is how the ecosystem here is going to develop in 2014. So maybe I would start, with Donatas, who's in the opposite corner, and we'll just go through. So, Donatas, please tell us what great things has happened during 2013.
Hello, everyone. So, I believe that 2013 was an amazing year for Lithuanian ecosystem, startup ecosystem. And I made a list, actually, of 9 amazing things which happened, in my opinion, And, of course, I'm going to mention a lot of you guys, but I'm going to take a pride to mention you here. So, I don't know, maybe should I go through the list? Okay. So, first of all, of course, we had many nice events. And roadshow, Business Start Awards, startup events. I'm very happy that we do it. We're continuing to do that, and Enterprise Lithuania support it, and that's great. And I believe it had a lot of impact on our ecosystem. So it's very good. Next thing, which I believe is very, very good, and is Next Year Ventures, as I call it as event, because the fund which happened, Ilya Laurs, which came back to Lithuania to do business. This is amazing for all ecosystem, and we are very happy that we have somebody to invest with together. So it's a great thing, and I'm happy to have Mindaugas here now. Next thing, what is also very important for me and for all ecosystem is Vinted, of course. We have Justas here, so guys, what you've done is something what shows that we can do it. And especially what I love and what I like is not just that you got 20 million of pounds, euros, dollars, whatever, I don't know what you got, but that you stayed in Lithuania and you said that your head office is going to be in Lithuania and you're going to continue to do business in Lithuania. So this is another great sign, and showing that our ecosystem is very strong, it's getting stronger, and we have talent, we have people, and we can continue doing things. So this is kind of a milestone which affected all of us and all ecosystem. Of course, I have to mention Mobile Free. Maybe it's not so widely kind of popular PR'd event, but then a Lithuanian company which is operating in Africa gets investment from Africa-focused fund. That's another amazing thing. And Startup Highway done amazing job here, and I'm very happy. I'm sad that we are not in this company, but you cannot invest in any company, in every company in Lithuania. So, but I'm happy about that. Of course, Kima Ventures coming into Lithuania, making some events, some startups, some investments. Not last, but Intel Capital, of course, CG Trader event, us participating in showing that big funds sees not just Vinted, but all ecosystem. That's a great thing. But probably what I like most is that funds which are sitting here, we've done some deals together. We've done things with Startup Highway, we've done things with Next Year Ventures. I believe we're going to do something with Arvidas. So this is showing that we start to work together and move forward. So that is my milestones, my highlights of 2014. I don't know, would you share your opinions?
Thank you, Donatas. And Mindaugas, you've quitted the lucrative job in Microsoft to run the Next Year fund. So tell us, for you it was the year of change, but tell from the perspective of Next Year Ventures and yourself, how was it? Was it fun in 2014?
Well, absolutely. And thank you, Donatas, for mentioning Next Year. We have established this venture just by the very end of the year, and we have accelerated ever since. It's been an amazing preparatory period before it was established. And yes, before that, I personally was working in a corporation for a number of years, in total for 15 years in IBM and Microsoft. And I've been in touch with the startup ecosystem for quite some years. However, I've always been the outsider, and I've been an outsider from a large corporation. Things felt differently. I see some of my friends from Microsoft here, and I mean, I love my time in Microsoft, but I must say, at some point, it has really become boring. And it was an amazing change to go into such a different area where, you know, you don't spend 75% of your times for internal corporate politics, but you spend 100% of your time to do the thing, to achieve the result. And I think this is the defining characteristic of any startup, and this has surely now become the defining characteristic of a Lithuanian startup. Now, I think that over a couple of last years, the typical definition of a Lithuanian startupper, a person, has also changed for the good. In the past, it was seen as something for the kids, for students, for somebody who, you know, has nothing to lose, but has nothing serious to do either. I think this perception has also changed. Continues to change still. We're not there yet, but it has changed. Even looking at the audience here, I see much more mature people than I used to see before. And this is a very good thing. I'm not saying old people. Yes, they're older by age, but mature people who can bring in the experience and help those new ventures, new startups accelerate much quicker. Donat, as you mentioned, I mean, the examples of Vinted, Yplan have given a boost as well to the ecosystem, saying that, look, yes, we can do it. We can, you know, be there for a number of years, try to find the proper way. But if you are persistent enough, you will find that proper way to do just the right thing, and that will be rewarded. And I think this should be something that we should all strive for, and with this maturity that we now have in the ecosystem, exploit that to our advantage.
Thank you, Mindaugas. Darius, you've been one of the first bravest investors in Accelerator. You are now an angel investor as well in the startups. So how was the year 2014 for you, for Accelerator, and you as an angel investor? What has been shifted, and to the good or maybe not that good side?
I think last year was really nice. We got some nice deals for our startups. Praktika cooperation helped us a lot. Of course, MOBA free case with Eva Fund is another good example. So yeah, it's we already 3 years in business with Startup Highway, and it's growing. It's growing, and all of us, we need keep working to build the ecosystem and to build more and more startups, and the results will come. I think more great news are coming, and what I like most, maybe, yeah, what more and more serious people are coming to the ecosystem. We saw Mindaugas quit a job and he runs an Nextury fund. We have now the latest news, Šarūnas from Barclay Bank quit a job, and he starts to run the Place I Live startup, and CTO quit from CAC. So this is really amazing. It was not possible, I think, 3 years ago, to what the guys from corporates quitting safe jobs and entering as startups. So this is a great news, and I think what we need going forward, and need some times, and the results will come. Yeah,
so if I could elaborate on that, do you think the trend that the people will be quitting their not that fun jobs in the big corps as Barclays and Microsoft and the others, would be going toward trends, the joining, fun work at the tech startups? You think it will continue?
I hope, but it depends very much on of course, also on ideas and on other startups. Yeah, but it's good example. But I hope it encourage other teams, because now when place I live did it, so maybe I don't know, other job rely or other I don't know. One startup from this 40 or 50 what we have in a whole, maybe they will follow the same agenda. So, the best way to learn is from examples. So I think it could help. Yeah.
Thank you, Darius. And Arvidas, you running the angel fund, you're talking to the angels. Do you think that ecosystem is, and you as investors are capable to attract business development talent and technical talent into new companies?
Yes and no. In some cases, first of all, our fund is not pure technical or technological investor. We are sort of not blended investor. Our portfolio starts from ketchup to high-tech technologies and super high-tech technologies in computer sciences, laser, and I believe in microbiology. So I would talk about all these areas, which basically covers national economy. And yes, in many cases we are able to attract in tech knowledge and people coming from abroad, work in our companies, as well as there were comments that people are leaving corporate world, and I'm just getting strange feeling I'm back into corporate world. One of the reasons some of our companies have been growing to the extent that they are, small but already corporations. We are talking about companies growing from 0 to 5, 6, 7, 8 million euro sales per annum. You basically need an organization. So I have to pick up some learning curves from our colleagues.
But getting back on subject, you can elaborate. What about talent? Is it enough talent today to form new startups, to attract new business development talent as well from corps and as well as technical guys, and form the new teams to work on new ideas? Is it enough today what we have here in the region? What do you think? Just anybody can elaborate on that?
Dovydas, you see 54 startups here. We had 21 last year. So what is the question about?
My question about is, can we continue at the growing pace?
I'm sure. We have to do that. Yes.
I think we have to also make the definition of a startup clear, right? We're talking about technological startups. And I think right now we are facing some challenges which will come in the future, because the technical professions, if you look at the admissions in the universities, and I represent also Kaunas Technical University, over years they have been declining. So now we are expecting a bow wave of less and less people coming out of the university in the next couple of years. But the tide has turned, and now this was the first year where there were more technical student admissions to universities than in the previous years. So we will recover. And I think here we have to also give credit to organizations like Enterprise Lithuania, like venture capital companies, like Infobalt and others, who have been talking about that non-stop, that it's enough to have just managers. We should have engineers with good management skills. And that's also important, that universities are trying to reshape themselves. They will no longer produce pure engineers. They will try to make these multidisciplinary studies where you can have the knowledge of these both worlds. So right now, I think the number of startups doubled. I think in reality it's even more than doubled. It's just 51 that we have here. So the trend is very, very positive. But I also feel I've done a bit of disfavor talking about corporations. Actually, I think corporations is a very good school. And I think every startup should strive to become a corporation sooner or later, to grow the business. But the important thing for the economy of the country is that you should not expect corporations to produce many more workplaces. I've seen these IT companies, international IT companies, without naming them, but every single one of them either closed their operation in Lithuania or has significantly reduced their footprint. And I think there's no way back, with internet coming into their lives as well, that they will start hiring new people again. So if we want new jobs, we have to have much more small businesses, much more startups for these technological companies. But corporations is a very good school for them to start their career at.
Darius, if we can as well continue on this subject, do you think User Accelerator, Use an Angel, or Lithuanian startup ecosystem can attract not only local but foreign talent, business-wise and technical-wise?
Yeah, we try to do it, and I think we are pretty interesting for our eastern neighbors. And what I saw now in West Lithuania, we have an initiative to bring game developers from Belarus, Russia and Ukraine to Lithuania to set up head offices or some departments here. And they visited our Rupert Center. It was like 3 or 4 visits during last 2 months. And how I understand from feedback from these companies, they're pretty large companies, and they are amazed about Lithuania, about I don't know, quality of life, about pricing, about security, about it. But it's and we just need to keep working. If we bring them, if we bring some really important game developers with, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 people to Lithuania from Ukraine or Belarus, it will be I don't know, first step to smaller teams also to enter and to understand the possibility, what they can get from us here. So yeah, you need to work. You need to keep working. I don't know. Everything is doable, but it just takes time and some efforts.
Donatas, yes,
yeah,
please.
Just small comment. We are already doing that. In not big amounts, but Mobile Free has a guy, right, from local guy. TransferGo just got a person from UK, high-level person. CG Trader is getting a French guy to do the sales also. We as Practical also probably going to get a person from France to come and help us on sales and things like that. So they are coming. They are writing letters. They want to join startups. It's going on. It's not 10s, 20s, or 100 people, but on still one hand. I don't know what about Vinted. Maybe we also have somebody joining the office, but what is going on?
Great. Arvidas as well wanted to comment.
Yeah, everything seems to be fine, but I'm still a little bit nervous about the situation. I would say there are a couple of aspects. One of the aspects is from what we see from various interactions with early stage companies is first, many of our early stage companies, tech companies, are very, very good in niche technologies like niche programming, niche lasers and various aspects of this. But when it comes to growth of a company, there is always obstacle on managerial side. Engineers, as you said, they need to be managers, and managers need to be a little bit engineers. So it's where I see some issues coming for companies who start to grow. And another aspect is our fund has made relatively little investments into tech companies. And one of the reasons, fundamental reason, is private investor or angel investor knowledge level. So it's not only about young people getting trainings in technologies. It's also about investors getting more aware about things which are coming now and will be coming later on. And that issue is still, to me, remains heavily unresolved. And I do believe that in cooperation with Versli Lietuva, we will develop something similar to what we have recently launched together with International School of Management. It's a very special training for young company owners to become a little bit better managers when it comes to growth, management of the companies, and including marketing. It's an excellent program. A first trial of this program has launched 2 or 3 weeks ago with a huge success. So I would say that Versli Lietuva with investors should do a little bit more activities also on investor quality and investor education.
That's what my next question is. So you guessed it right. So there is two sides learning. The startups learn how to manage their business, grow their business, and investors are getting smarter. So, but speaking as well about getting smarter, is it, what do you think, guys? Is it possible to consolidate investments in such way with already smart money, investors which already have great potential, customers and knowledge in the fields, not being local, but with the foreign ones? And is it happening already? What do you think? It's yes.
Yeah, definitely it's happening. Some of our companies, we've got angel syndications, for instance, where knowledge based and skill based is just phenomenal. Just to mention one company, enormously growing company called Probiosanus, cluster of super angels, really working on growth, managerial, and even content things. There are investments we are planning right now in a week or two, investments with American angels, professionals, and that seems to be working as a very good combination between entrepreneurs with energy and angels with knowledge and skills. And when this knowledge transfer is happening, companies are growing 1,000 and 2,000% a year.
I see, but
yeah, I see some possibilities if government can make some incentive to the angel investor. It's very simple. Make a tax reduction. The amount you invested into the startup, and it could be deductible from your taxes. It could be a big nice boom to the market. Yeah, because angel investment is very risky, and it's let's say most risky way of investing. So you need to support them. This is a gap, but nobody is doing this. So it's one of the opportunities. You need to build a program how to attract. It's simple. You need to have a plan how to attract these investors.
But still, Donatas is having a great pace of investing into startups. Maybe you can elaborate on that, saying you've done so many investments during the years, especially 2014. So can you put up the stars and how you made it? What made you so successful in investing in the tech startups?
Just investing is not being successful. It's quite probably the easiest part. Yeah, we made 12 investments over 2013, and why we believe some of them will be successful, of course, because we have partners, funds we invested together. We believe in founders, which is also very important, and experience level in the teams is the key at some point. So this is the factors should help these teams to go further and succeed and make us successful as investors also, because just startup success gives us success as investors.
Mindaugas, can you continue on that as well? That Next Year Ventures is already, quite a young fund, but a private owned, and how you look into it 2014? What's the trends, and what's your further strategy?
Okay. Yeah. So, for us it's very simple. We have started with 3 portfolio companies. We have 3 more portfolio companies in the pipeline, and our plan is to finish 2014 with the 10 companies in portfolio. Now, along the way, towards the end of 2014, we also want to attract, to every single one of them, I would say, we would like to, this will not be possible, but to attract external investments. Now, we've done one with Practica Capital. As Donata said, we haven't seen yet the success of this business, showing the next results, but we are making these gradual steps. And one smart person told me, startup business is business for patient people. So yeah, we have to wait a little to see how product evolves and how it's accepted in the market. But I think we have a very strong ecosystem for pre-seed and seed investment, also with the Practica Seed Capital, with the job that Startup Highway is doing and other accelerators. I think it's more or less okay there. It's easy to get small money. The challenge comes when we grow into larger investments, and then honestly I must say, in Lithuania we do not have enough competition among venture capital funds, and we need to have more venture capital funds with their foot in Lithuania from abroad. We are not worse than, say, our neighbors in Latvia or Estonia, but we are much worse than our Scandinavian neighbors, UK and Silicon Valley. I mean, not only if we look at the absolute numbers, but also at the proportional numbers. We need more later stage investment funds.
So how many funds you would predict would be coming into later stage investment as a might be, or establishing locally? Well, how many funds, and what the capitalization could be of these funds?
How many there should be?
Should be.
Well,
yeah.
Look,
there is a space for.
We see the start now. Everybody knows Intel Capital has invested, and Vinted has received the investment, although it should probably not be considered a purely Lithuanian investment, I think. But still, I wouldn't say any numbers now. Honestly, you caught me off guard here. I wouldn't name the numbers, but we should not start with billions. We should not yet, I would say, start with hundreds of millions, but up to 100 million, I think this market could still absorb.
Okay, thank you. Arvidas, you wanted Darius.
I have a little bit different opinion from our let's say side. I think everything is based on a team what you have. Mobo3 could be a good example. We just graduate the class in Startup Highway, and during 2 months we have 5 proposals from different funds, starting from local, ending international. So everything is depend on how good you are, what is your team about, and what is your idea. And I see now it's very easy to reach, let's say, funds in London or even in States. It's really, they are keen to listen. They already know Lithuania because we have some track record with Vinted and other companies. So now it's just a matter of how good you are, and you will attract attention immediately.
So if you understood correctly, that basically if you're a good startup which graduated from accelerator, so there's not only local competition, there is already regional or even European competition to get the startup.
Yeah. I just came back from London and have a conversation with a guy who runs a billion fund in London, and he is talking only about a competition between funds, because he's selling is a crazy competition now going on, and we are in London, we are really suffering because American funds start to entering very actively, and you know, this is a really big problem with pipeline, and we are working 14 hours per day to find the good ideas, and the competition is huge. So I think it's really everything now about your team and how good you are.
Donatas, you have comment as well.
I have to agree with Darius very much, because if last year on Login Startup Fair we had 5 investors, 5. Today we have 24, and excluding us is 20. It's 4 times more. So of course, bigger funds and European level funds, global funds are coming here, and access to the money and access to these guys are getting simpler and easier. And our network is growing as persons here, so anyone who wants to speak with big funds, if they have no courage to go straight to London, you can talk to me first, and Darius, Mindaugas, Arvidas, and we will help. It's not an issue.
If you have a good idea and you need just contact, we can put you in a contact with 10 investors in London, and it takes 1 week to organize everything, and it's cost Ryanair ticket to you to fly to the London and have 5 meetings. This is very easy, but you need to be interesting.
Now, just switching to the 2014. Once again, I would like to ask about, the trends. And what you are looking for, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs and startups here who are eager to learn how they can, apply, and how they should structure their business, what teams they should have, and what the trend they should be in. So if you can, we can talk about 2014, what they should do to be successful this year or the years ahead.
Talk to the funded teams. It's in Lithuania, it's already, I think 20 teams are funded by Praktika, Startup Highway, Nexture, and it's very simple. Just talk to your colleague first, and then it will be more easier to talk with Donatas after that.
Arvidas, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, as always, I'm taking another angle. I mean, straight to the point, our plan for this year is we are looking for extensions within industries, especially extensions within technologies. Simply said, we are taking existing, metal processing, ketchup, food industries, and we are looking for technological applications there. We already see some phenomenal developments in absolutely traditional classic industries, where teams are coming with proposals to us and to company, let's do it, and we just do it. And this year you will see a couple of very, very interesting technological breakthroughs, I would say, in classic industries. And I would really suggest, if somebody is thinking in that direction, we would really appreciate to have discussion on that subject.
Thank you. And you guys already commenting, so can you as well put comment public?
No, we were just actually laughing and said, what is traditional industry, right? It's hard to say. They're really changing. And I think I wouldn't even pretend to be a guru saying that, guys, look at the 3D printing. It's hot and it's gonna grow. Honestly, I think we are in this in these times of development that we just don't know what's gonna become hot in half a year. I think if you have a good idea, try to see how this idea applies to new industries, to totally things unseen, or even traditional industries. Dig into that deeper, and it might actually apply. Now, unfortunately, I've also managed to see a number of discussions and startups, where people come all excited, but totally unprepared, and say, we have this good idea, let's do it. And you ask a couple of questions, and you realize This was, thought of probably just as a, you wake up in the morning and thought, oh, this might work, I would like it. It doesn't matter if you would personally like it, but I think there's some research, maybe not research, but some deep thinking is always needed, and you can, in many, many things, find a new and innovative angle.
Probably I'm saying it already 10 times, but as always, idea is not enough, right? The team behind it, it's a must, and dedication. That's one thing what I kind of saw in 2013, that some teams, they're coming and they say, oh, okay, I'm going to do a startup, I'm going to spend half of my time doing that, half of my time doing something else. My team is giving 25% of dedication for a startup, and now he's doing some other job. This is not the way it should go in startup. We will never invest in a company which dedication is split, divided, not focused, and not full. So yes, team and dedication and idea. That's what we need to go. And to comment on what to look for in 2014 is, of course, it's work of Nagli Shulia, probably not for me.
Okay, guys, I think it's a great idea that we understood that we will continue on the pace which will double. Well, already 2014 we're doubling the pace. I mean, we're getting more faster. We understand that the basic ideas are, once again, we want to change the industries. We want technological breakthroughs, even if it's, Arvid, as you said, if it's a niche. Or is it solves the problem of a whole generation globally. As well, I see we have some time left. I have a lot of questions still in my mind prepared, but I would like to now turn to the audience and would like to ask, do you have any questions, or I can still continue facilitating the discussion? Is anybody having the question in the audience? Now, the audience don't have any questions yet. So, continuing on the speaking about the ecosystem, and what do you expect? We last time a year ago we had a discussion, accelerations having versus venture catalyst. I mean, there was two sides speaking. There are two sides speaking about: is it you have to change the you have to accelerate the startup, you have to make it better. The others were saying, sometimes you have to make the founders better, right? And we did the roadshow, and some startups understood they have to have the better co-founders, or founders can change. And what do you think? The startups growing, going from early stage to the more mature stage. Do you think that should be, the founders should change themselves? They should hire interim managers. They should have an extra managerial or business development, talents, or how it's going to be, or they're just going to go abroad to the other markets. How is going to, what's going to be the trend?
Okay, this is a tough topic, but I have opinion that founders have to be able to learn, adapt, and grow faster than the startup itself. In other case, it would be very hard, very hard. First of all, it's very hard for a founder to attract the team. If he's not strong enough, if he's not charismatic, leader enough, to attract investments. It's, of course, sometimes it's easier to speak with us in Lithuania, knowing each other, but when you go to London, nobody knows who are you and what you've done before. So you have to prove it by yourself that you can be trusted, that you can do things. So founders' strength and abilities and way of thinking and personality is vital. It's very important. It's very, very important. So, guys, you have to think about yourself also when you build a startup, and of course think about your co-founders or main team to have the best and strongest people around. That's very important.
Thank you. Mindaugas, you have some ideas?
I agree with everything what Donatas said, honestly. I think this is going to be a never-ending story, and we will continuously have to work with people, with corporate structures. We'll have to involve, investors at some point to step in and say, look, the original founders, you're good, you stay as founders, but we need new management to accelerate the development of this company. And honestly, I think we are still in a very early stage of development in this. Corporate governance in general, even for enterprises in Lithuania, is a little shaky yet. With the startups, it's a totally new thing, and we need to introduce this culture. And I think through venture capital funds, this will inevitably happen. But here now, I would like to say that I'm actually really impressed by the work that has been done by Enterprise Lithuania and Startup Lithuania, consolidating the ecosystem and identifying the potential, not the potential, but identifying the gaps that exist and providing some but providing infrastructure that attempts to fill in those gaps. The job is not complete yet. But what's being done so far, I think, was a really great boost to this ecosystem.
Thank you. Darius, I want to ask, I know you are considering the applications of the fourth round of the accelerator. Have you found anything different between the last round and this round, the applications you're receiving?
Of course, every time you found some different things and different teams and different founders. Of course, we have some very interesting cases. I can't tell you now what I'm talking about because it's not finished yet. But
you're going to publish it.
Yeah, I hope we will publish soon. But about when you're asking about the founders, they are able to grow or no. It's every time it's a different story. It's it's no two startups which is similar. Every startup is so different, and one they need skills to work in to build something in Africa, another in Asia. And United States is different markets, different categories. But you need to be open-minded. You need to be open-minded and hardworking. And if you open-minded and hardworking, you can do your best, and you can attract another co-founders to your team, and you can do everything. It's everything in your hand. It's maybe let's say very traditional, but you can do everything.
Thank you. Arvidas, you were speaking about the Express MBA program for the managers of a startup, for CEOs. Do you think that the program which started 2-3 weeks ago, the founders or co-founders will come in a kind of version 2.0, and it's going to boost the startup ecosystem in 2014?
Sure, there are going to be changes, but no, we are talking about cultural and social changes, and these things don't happen, overnight. So everything takes time. But basically, if we take now 3% deviation from lousy economy to better economy, in 10-15 years, we will be in totally different shape. So it's what we are talking about. I mean, this country, I understand, is trying or taking strategic direction into startup, into early stage and innovation. So if we continue that, there is going to be change. If we don't do that, I don't know. It might remain in a small little niche or cluster, and that's it.
Thank you, guys. We are, we have just little time left, but there's always a, question in my mind: what to expect? What great thing, the most great thing happened 2013 for you personally? Speaking about the startups, and what the great thing or a breakthrough you expect for 2014 or upcoming years?
Okay, so I'm going to be very kind of clear. Of course, Intel Capital investment into CG Trader. That's the greatest thing for me. What happened in professional manner in 2014. So I hope 2014 is going to bring even more interesting surprise. I don't know what to expect. So just
Like more, there's usually, last year we were speaking that we're expecting a big business flow, the new startups rising.
Yeah, but this is natural. It's going on. This is not something is very surprising or something very new. It's going on. The business flow is great. The pipeline is bigger, is growing. The teams are getting better, and I just don't want even to comment on that because I'm happy about that. Of course, what probably I would like to have is even more cooperation between all the funds, between the parties in the Lithuanian ecosystem. That's what we can do something and work on this, and it can happen. So I believe it might happen also in 2014.
Okay, thank you. Mindaugas, if you can elaborate on that.
So look, I'll be very egocentric, and I actually wish the same thing for everybody else. But I wish that next year in 2014 will lay a solid foundation for another startup of the caliber of GetJar, Vinted, or Yplan, or Skype, or whatever. But that's not only egocentric to me, but to everybody else.
So it should be the next level for you, basically. Great, thank you. Darius, if you can collaborate on that.
I'll talk about future. So, yeah, I would like to participate in a project which hits 100 million users. First Lithuanian, let's say, startup to having at least 100 million users. And I hope that together with Donatas, we have one idea. Which we are working on it, and if they will hit this mark in 2-3 years, yeah, it will be great, I think, for Lithuania. So we found this idea, and let's see what will happen. I tell you next year.
So next year, guys, we're expecting 100 mil idea. Arvidas, and what's your intake from 2014 and the biggest hope for 2014?
I'm sort of primitive one. I would be more than happy when one or two companies make IPO this year, and that seems to be technically possible. I would be more than happy that there is a change in basic engine structures and innovation in this, let's say, classic industry, and I really expect this change.
So great. So guys, I wish you the more collaboration, the next step for next year is 2014, the great breakthrough. Darius, 100 mil with Donatas. We're expecting next year on the stage, you be saying hooray. And Arvidas, I wish you a great IPOs, and all of you, thank you for a great panel. So applause. Thank you everybody for your kind attention.